Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angels in Action with Larkin and Susie and Antara. We will be back together again next week to be with you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. EDT, 6 p.m. BST. So I just wanted to pop on here as our makeup and bonus this week for about a half an hour with you guys, since we didn't get on with you Monday. My father-in-law is he's still in a rehabilitation facility. We're just still playing the waiting game with him. And so Susie and I were not able to coordinate for Monday, but I wanted to get on to answer your questions and talk with you guys a little about the perspective of spirit, which is so important. So whether you guys are on the rebroadcast or whether you're joining me live today, welcome. Hey, Leonard, welcome. And make yourself at home. Make sure you guys are setting up a space so that this is a sacred time for you with spirit. And that means, maybe you have your drink or a candle or crystals or whatever you might have. Sure, Leonard, I can do readings. We do readings on this live. Absolutely. But I always take a few minutes, Leonard, to do sort of an introduction to help people not just jump from reader to reader and get lead readings as fast as possible. I really try to encourage everyone to understand that whether you're on with us or another reader, or whether you're home alone creating sacred spiritual time, that is so important, because our life is habits and repetition while we're here in human form. And if you really want to connect with spirit, if you want to have a deeper dimensional life experience here, to be able to hear your intuitive guidance and that of your angels and spirit guides and loved ones, you all have that potential. So I like to go about things with a little bit more of a relaxed entrance than I see a lot of broadcasts do. And part of that is to help you guys instill that understanding, that practice, and that patience with yourself, and to remind you how important it is to create a sacred space for your connection with spirit. I know, I love that. Sure. I'm glad you get that, Leonard. It's good to see you. There is so much going on in the world, and everything that happens in our lives, and personally and collectively, it's always working out for our greater good. Hi, Anne, welcome. And it's not only always working out for our greater good, but I want to remind you all of what spirit constantly reminds me. And that is that everything is always working out for us, whether we realize it or not, but also that we have this free will choice, and that our struggles, our suffering, our self limitations, all the things we want to overcome, understand that every obstacle is an opportunity. Our obstacles are opportunities. And I keep repeating this because I'm hoping that eventually part of our human collective conscious evolution depends on our perspective and how we label and go about things. And right now, when we see things we don't like or that are uncomfortable, we say we want to get away from them as fast as possible. How can we change them? How can we fix them? And those aren't the right questions. And spirit constantly reminds me to remind people that it is not the answers that you seek that matter, but the questions that you ask. I'm not the first person to say that. I am not the first person or teacher that spirit has come throughout human history and shared that. It is the questions you ask that matter. And so we need to be looking at what are our emotions telling us that we want to overcome. You've been seeing numbers a lot, Anne. Awesome. What are the emotions we're having? Not just what are your challenges and obstacles and difficulties and struggles and sufferings, but what are they trying to tell you? Because if every obstacle is an opportunity, then every time you are struggling or suffering with something, it is trying to tell you something. There is a message, whether it is emotion, whether it's a habit in your life, whether it is a pattern that you see. And it's really important, Spirit wants you all to know, to recognize these patterns, not get caught up so much in what's happening to you right now, but what are the patterns? Because they have a message for you, and those messages are always going to lead you to a better feeling life experience, to those things, maybe not in detail and content that you want, but that are leading you to what you actually want. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Keith. Welcome. They fix your Facebook lives. Let's see. Leonard says, understand, tune in and understand it all. Yay. Ann says, I've been seeing numbers a lot. Yes. Leonard says, me too. I've been seeing 222 and 333. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So numbers can have a lot of different meanings for us, actually. And if I were you guys, I'd get on, I'd look up some numerology so you can start assessing for yourself what these different numbers mean. But also keep in mind that a lot of times there are the collection and the combination of the numbers as well, right? So, a lot of times, oh my goodness, excellent. So a lot of times, there are so many different meanings to the numbers. And a lot of times the numbers are also indicating geometric shapes, right? So, for example, when you have the number 4, that can be something four-sided. It can also indicate a circle. You can look at the addition of the numbers that you have. If there are numbers that you're seeing now, they might be messages for this part in your life. Whereas if you have numbers that you've always seen, for example, then you might notice that those are numbers for your life, right? Those are number patterns that are numbers for you. And numbers are wonderful signs and symbols and ways to get through to you, because they're ways to get your attention that are tangible. And mathematics is actually the language of the universe, right? Which is really, really fun. But the Tao Te Ching uses numbers a lot. There's a whole sequence you have to go through for using the book, the Tao Te Ching. And because there's the actual book, and then there's the basically the instruction book where you can use that and learn what different numbers mean. Angels will often speak to you through numbers as well. And you want to look at combinations of things. And you'll find that if you look back to find habits and patterns in your life, look back at dates in which things happened, although calendars are man-made, right? They're human-made. But you can look back at the calendar dates, because those will speak to you as signs and symbols of things that are significant. But that's very important as well. So are you saying you're superstitious? Yeah, there's like hidden messages. Yeah, so that's a good point. Let's take a look at really what being superstitious means, okay? My lips are dry. So I want you guys to think about this. All right. Nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. So when we say things like things are superstitious, okay? Superstition might have no meaning for one particular person, but it can have a lot of meaning for others. I may have to close that door. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey. are you from? Oh, God, oh my God, talk about signs and symbols. You're all still there? Oh my God, you are. Bless your hearts. Okay. Sorry, I had a wild black cat in the backyard going after my birds. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so let's talk about superstition. Hi, Chrissy. Yourself, superstitious. Okay, got it. But actually, so this is actually kind of cool, guys. This is a topic I love. Nothing has meaning until you give it meaning. But here's the thing, and this is really kind of cool. As you believe, so you create. Okay. You've been having weird dreams, Anne. As you believe, so you create. So let's say you are superstitious. Okay. Life morphs according to what you believe. And it's one of the fun things about being incarnated and having a mind and a brain in addition to your consciousness. I'm going to keep emphasizing this until eventually people get the idea that you have these four aspects to yourself. Your eternal consciousness, which is your soul, which Eckhart Tolle refers to as the observer behind your thoughts. Then you've got your physical brain, which you need to work your physical body. And then you've got your mind, which is the tool of your consciousness that connects your consciousness to your brain. Okay. So this is how it works. So this means that if, let's say you're superstitious, now you have this brain, 95% of which you're not even aware of, you give meaning to. So let's say somebody says a black cat is bad luck. They're not. They're great luck. They're amazing and magical. But let's say you believe this as a group of people that pass this on, okay? It will actually trigger your shift in perspective, choices. Hi, Ward, welcome. And everything else. So even though the black cat itself might not be bad luck, every time you see that black cat, you're going to have a reaction that creates a cascade of reactions for you in your life that will eventually lead you going, oh my God, see, the black cat was bad luck. The black cat had nothing to do with it. But the superstition of your belief did. Okay. Now that's one side of being superstitious. Okay, Leonard. But here's the other thing. There are things that religious people have put into calling superstitious that actually really impact you in certain ways, that had symbol and sign meaning. Okay, which a lot of people don't recognize. Hey, Paul, welcome. So there are a lot of ancient things, for example, right, that we call superstitious. But a lot of those things, let's say in Native American cultures, for example, were actually had medicinal properties or can now be proven scientifically, right? I know people that are, any of these things, guys, if you get too caught up in them, they do you more harm than good. But astrology, for example, when I started studying astrology, I did it because I wanted to disprove it, because I didn't like the horoscopes. I didn't like the new agey, faddish thing, people racing their decisions off of this. So what I did was I was able to disprove the fake, fake surface shallow aspects. But underneath it, I discovered ancient astrology, right, from all around the world. Egyptian astrology, astrology from India. And what I found was instead of them using it so much as a predictor, they used it like a big clock. And so they used it to interpret things, which a lot of people nowadays call superstitious, right? But then I started doing intuitive astrology and I found out it was very accurate. Why are some of these things we call superstition accurate? Because everything is energy. And because there's this gap where we can't cognitively explain it, right? But you all do have to be careful, because you have to be careful about the fact that what you believe becomes your reality. Okay. Leonard says, I love black cats. I grew up on a farm and we had every color, but the only thing you were never allowed was peacocks. Oh, wow. Interesting. I love peacocks. They're actually amazing. We used to have them at the Cincinnati Zoo when I worked there for 20 some years, and they were awesome. I miss the sound of them so much. Eventually, the zoo had to get rid of them because people were teasing them. And it was causing the peacocks to have to stick up for themselves. So that's a shame. Let's see. Ward says, do you believe transcendence is possible? Well, yes, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Leonard says 100% right. Anne says, always say in gratitude every day. Yes, absolutely. They're so beautiful. I know. Peacocks are beautiful and amazing. They're very, very spiritually symbolic as well. I love the call, sort of like a bagpipes rings in your soul, right? It resonates in your soul. So yeah, but Ward, I think this is a good question. Is transcendence possible? I think what we have to be careful of, guys, with any of this stuff is we have to be very careful. Again, we're sort of talking about spirit's awareness of the meanings that we give things, right? So one of the things you have to be aware of is the meaning that you're giving it and the way you're interpreting it, right? So just like when Jesus was talking about walking on water, he really did walk on water. I believe that he did. In my connections with him as a soul and a spirit, I believe that he did walk on water. And why do I believe that? Because he understood things we didn't, that everything is energy and everything is 99.9% space. One of the things Jesus was able to do that we all have the capacity to do, but we don't know how yet, is to align the atoms and molecules so that we can pass through a wall, for example, which he was able to do, or so that we can walk on water, right? It's just a matter of readjusting the molecules. Your body, for example, nothing is physical. Nothing is physical. I mean, you guys hear me. I do these readings, these psychic readings, and Susie and I talk about all this stuff, but we do it in a very practical way because spirit and science and spirituality are not mutually exclusive. They're also not mutually exclusive with metaphysics. It's just that they're different aspects of the same thing based on our human perspective. So there is a very logical reason to all these things. And mathematics is the language of the universe. So we know scientifically, quantum physics has proven if you align the molecules and atoms, you could pass through anything, right? My hands never actually touch, even though you hear the clapping sound. So then we say, well, why would my hands just go through one another? Well, because the atoms and molecules, even though they're 99.9% space, are lined up so that I can experience something as though it were physical. There really is no physical reality. But the illusion is good enough, isn't it? When you stub your toe, it hurts. When you're eating that delicious ice cream cone and you feel the nice coolness on your tongue, it's delicious, right? So we do get to experience these physical sensations, but even your physical body is only, you can only experience it if it's physical because of your brain and because of the way your brain picks up the electromagnetic signals that you experience, but also because your physical body is actually in motion. It's the speed and frequency in which your energy body is vibrating creates a physical sensation, and it allows us to have this experience. Okay. It feels like giving my consciousness over to my soul. Yeah. So a word says, I feel like I am transcending. My body feels the soul, but it is unfamiliar. Hi, Kiki. Welcome. Greetings to you as well. So let's just put this in a different viewpoint perspective. Okay, Ward. So is transcendence possible? Yes. Okay. So here, it put your picture up too. Oh my goodness. Well, hi. It's showing comments at a different size than usual. So just so other people can see. So let's break down first consciousness and soul. So I'm gonna share this one right now for people to see first. It feels like my consciousness over my soul. Okay, so your consciousness is your soul. All right. So again, I know I always try to draw these things out for you guys. Your soul is electromagnetic consciousness it's electromagnetic energy that is conscious. We know from quantum physics that everything is energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only transform and change form. We know that all energy is conscious. So even this is conscious because it's energy. It's a different level of conscious. It's a different frequency, but there's a consciousness in here. Okay. All energy is consciousness. It might be in a concentrated or diluted form. As a soul, you are consciousness. You're pure consciousness. You're electromagnetic consciousness. So if you have an NDE, a near-death experience, or you have an OBE, an out-of-body experience, your consciousness still survives. Your body might change, might switch, but your consciousness is like, oh, where am I now? Oh, look at this. Oh, wow, I feel nice and light, right? When we're in physical bodies, it's like to our soul, it's like putting on a wetsuit. But your soul is also outside of your body. So as I mentioned in my other broadcast today, your soul is still on the other side. You have that golden thread connecting you to this body. My father described it beautifully. When you come into physical form, it's like putting a glove on your hand. So this part is now, it's focused, is now in the physical world, but the rest of my body representing the rest of my soul is still really on the other side. Okay. So when we pass from this world, we just withdraw our consciousness from this world. We reconnect with our soul without a part of it having a separate focus. Okay. So your consciousness is your soul. So when you guys hear me talk about your observer behind your thoughts, how Eckhart Tolle describes it, and then I talk about your mind, and then I talk about your brain, and then I talk about your body, those four aspects of you right now are making up who you are. When you leave this world, you will maintain that eternal consciousness that is the observer behind your soul, but you ditch your brain and body and your mind, because your mind is the egoic identity. It is the link between your conscious observer, the observer behind your soul, and your brain, which connects to your nervous system and allows you to have a physical body experience, right? So I hope that makes sense. So when you are saying, I feel like I'm transcending my body, soul is unfamiliar. It's actually not unfamiliar. It's actually the eternal real you. Okay. It just feels unfamiliar to your human state. Okay. Yes, let's see. Yes, but a part of my soul, a higher being, is in my consciousness and wants to share, but it's not in your consciousness. It is your consciousness. It is your consciousness. See, that is you. That is the observer behind your thoughts. That's the real you trying to get past the egoic veil. The part you are identifying as consciousness is actually just your conscious mind, your brain, and your mind that is able to function because your brain is functioning, right? We often look at that as consciousness. That's how doctors refer to consciousness. But if you notice, experts around the world are trying to identify what is consciousness. Well, consciousness is the eternal you, that's your soul. So you are identifying it, word, as something separate, but that higher being is you. That is your consciousness. Okay. It can move my reactions and movements at times. Yes, it can. That's right. So when I first discovered my white light, the light source, that is that observer behind my thoughts, I was very intently practicing my martial arts and healing modalities at the time. And so as a practice, I still do it. I practice to unify my soul, my mind, and my body. I practice using my white light or my source soul energy to move my physical body. And I was doing that that's one of the things that true martial arts does and true meditation will do. But what I would do is I practice it now when I drive. So I will oftentimes, this sounds stupid, but I actually turn off my thinking. I stop thinking. It's taken me a lot of years to practice, but I started using Eckhart Tolle's techniques, and through that and meditation, you know, will often spend time just in consciousness, which is where we are beyond this world without thought. So I will just still my thoughts to a point where there are no thoughts. So when I drive often, I will just focus on my white energy, my white light, and I allow my white light to just drive, take over my body and drive. It's absolutely fascinating. So you can begin to practice using that because, yes, it can move your reactions and your movement. That's right. You still need your brain to do it, but at that point, your brain is considered part of that physical body, right? So that's very cool. Let's see. A word says, let's see. This really relates to all of you, what Ward is sharing. I've been through a very sad spiritual progress. And then it happened. Now I feel like my consciousness is telling me to teach my transcendence. So waking up consciously is not all roses and unicorns, right? We've talked about this before. And it could be, it's not, because our ego always chooses something else, right? We normally choose the hard road. And obstacles are opportunities. And so we as humans, we constantly choose the sad, painful, struggling, suffering route, because eventually that struggle and suffering is there because it forces us to wake up. And that's essentially what you're describing here. Let's see. Good. You're seeing God through a different perspective. And I'm doing it while I'm walking the whole day. It's now for a week that I've been in this show. That's wonderful. Excellent. So walking is a wonderful way to do this. It's like a walking meditation. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, don't forget, if you like this, make sure you check out Susie's and my YouTube page and my YouTube page. You'll see it linked here. I do terrific tips on mine as well, which is mindset work. And we're working on growing those two pages. That way, if anything happens to my ability to access Facebook again, you guys can always connect to all of the lives on YouTube, okay? So guys, you are God's source energy. You are one aspect of God's source energy. And again, those are just labels that we give it. But there are countless souls just waiting to be a part of this world, just waiting to incarnate in this particular reality. And it is such a gift. It is such an honor and a blessing that you're having your turn. Not that you haven't had thousands of turns you had, but you're having your turn in this world. And so when we're here to wake up. We're here to be our soul incarnated in this world. And so just understand that everything is God's source spirit, everything. When we see evil or darkness that we perceive, what we're perceiving is a lack of God's source energy. Okay. It's always there. It's when we're not perceiving it that we experience that evil or that dark. Okay. We see where those gaps are there. There really are no gaps, but if we perceive those gaps, if we turn away from that light, if we are experiencing that, so we can learn and grow, right? So because you are a part of God's source consciousness, you are also connected to God's source consciousness. You can bring that through, you can channel that through at any time. And we all have that ability to channel through. I'm channeling constantly while I'm talking to you guys, so you don't have to be asleep or unconscious to be channeling and connecting. But as I tell my awakening or intuition clients, the more you get more of what you practice, right? So intuition, which is the voice of your soul, is like a muscle. And the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Let's see here. Diane, I see your comment. I'll get to you in a moment. I may sound a little weird. Nothing's weird. There's nothing you could say to me that sounds weird. But it feels and tells me to become a new element or a form. Well, yes, because you are. You're transforming who and what you were and your energy. So we do that as humans, and let's hope that you do. Because that's what we're here to do. When we become stagnant, when we become too attached to our egoic stories, then we feel stuck, right? Then we struggle and suffer because life, since we're existing currently inside of space and time, instead of in the greater reality where it doesn't exist, life is going to go on with or without us. So we need to have that. We need to allow ourselves to grow and transform that way. Okay. I feel to become all of my shame. It feels free and open, close to naked. It scares me. Yeah. Well, what this means is this is why people don't transform. It's why they don't manifest new and different things, right? Remember, everything is energy, all energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can merely transform. You are on an eternal journey of transformation. In human form, it's scary because anything outside of our comfort zone says our life may be in danger to that 95% of your mind you're unaware of. So yes, it's scary. It's going to be scary. Everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. So we must make the unfamiliar familiar and the uncomfortable comfortable, right? Most often, to be the new version of ourselves with everything that we want to manifest and create and change is outside of our comfort zone. The better versions of ourselves are always outside of our comfort zone. And here's the kicker. If we don't choose them intentionally on our own, they're forced on us through life. We will choose them egoically, which is how we end up struggling and suffering, which takes me back to what I said in the beginning of this, which is the purpose of struggle and suffering is to awaken. Eventually it pushes us to that. So, which is why it is always best to choose on our own, right? You're welcome, Ward. One last thing I will say on that is most of you have heard me say this. It is just like being in the house that is on fire. You either stay in the house and you burn down with the house, or you run out the door that the frame is on fire. You're afraid to run out there because you're afraid to go through the door that is burning, the door frame that is on fire because you're afraid of the pain. But if you run through it for that split second, you don't burn down with the house. Every choice you make like this, Ward, every choice you guys are making like this, every powerful choice you make is that house. You always have that choice, right? You're welcome, Ward. Hi, Lacey. Great to see you. Anne says, I try to change for the better. Yes. Well, we all do. We all try to change for the better. But our life is habits and repetition. So we're either going to be doing it by choice, or we're going to wait till life causes us struggling and suffering, and then we're forced to do it, right? Let's see, Diane, I want to get to yours about Steve. Let me let's see. I want to, since I'm on this topic, I'm afraid of leaving the family memories. Well, the I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Word. I'm not sure if you mean you're afraid of I'm not quite sure what you mean. I'm not quite sure how to put that into words. Memories are, there are perception. There is no past, right? So memories are like a snapshot of the now that we have labeled and given meaning to. It feels like you're going to be somewhere else. Okay. Well, you will be somewhere else vibrationally, but you're not going to lose the family memories. As a matter of fact, the memories are always experienced in the form that we experienced them. We can make adjustments later, but for example, when you're a little kid, you might have experienced something and thought it was scary because you were little, right? Something seems much bigger to you than it is because you're lower to the ground, you're little, and you have a 2 or 3-year-old perspective. You will always remember that thing from that 2 or 3-year-old perspective. Okay. But you can give new meanings to memories as they come about, right? So you won't actually lose those family memories. It's just that they will have different significance and different meaning to you. You will be going somewhere else vibrationally. You will have a higher mental and emotional vibrational state. But eventually, if we don't grow and evolve in sync with ourselves and the world that we are existing in, we suffer because the world that we were existing in crumbles and we haven't grown and evolved, right? So you just have to be brave and trust that you're not ever losing anything. You're just going to be perceiving it from a higher level, from a higher perspective, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Let's see, Leonard, I love your comments. I'm going to get down to your comments. I want to comment on Diane. See, I was thinking about Steve. I was thinking that Steve is already incarnated. I don't know why, but I just felt he did. Okay, I'm checking in. Okay, so interesting. So Diane, here's what you are picking up on. I think the answer there is yes and no. Okay. What you're picking up on, and by the way, guys, I was going to have full moon readings because the full moon is the 15th. I'm going to have a full moon readings event this Saturday. I will repost it if any of you want to join. It's only $20. You can get a reading. We're going to talk about the full moon, do a little full moon energy ceremony. You can register for that at larkinsreadings.com, but I haven't reposted the date yet because I wasn't going to do it this month. Then I had people start to sign up. So I guess I'm going to be doing it on Saturday. But we can, when we reincarnate, Diane, we can reincarnate in any space and time, just so you know. Okay. So if you wanted to reincarnate back in the 1800s, if you left this world, Diane, and you were like, hey, you know, what I need to learn, I want to learn in this time and this location, you could do that. It doesn't affect our history now. Okay. Because the spirit world is outside of space and time. So I do sense that. I checked in with Steve. I do sense that what you're picking up on is he has already assessed now from this life what he needs to work on, what he wants to work on, and what he wants to contribute. So he is already setting up for his next incarnation. But because you're inside of space and time, he's not actually going to be reincarnating during your lifetime in this lifetime from the spirit world. So he will be unincarnated from the spirit world for the rest of your lifetime. Okay. But what you're picking up on is his outside of time and space self. I know this is hard to put your mind around, guys. I have such an intact cosmic memory. I can see and perceive this. It's just really hard for me to put into words. So be patient with me. But he is actually, yes, he is going to be reincarnating in a different space and time because he's already assessed from this lifetime what he wants to work on and what he wants to contribute next. That's what you're picking up on. You're picking up on that part of him from outside of time and space. But as far as the Steve you knew that's back on the other side in spirit, he is still going to be on the other side, like just as having just passed away from this lifetime, during the rest of your lifetime, if that makes sense. But you are picking up on his bigger soul and his plans and his outside of time self. That's what you're picking up on. Okay. All right. I hope that helps, Diane. Let me know if that makes sense. Let's see. Thank you, Paul. Have a great night as well. Okay. Let me get to Leonard's and I'll get back to yours. Ward here, guys. Let's see. Leonard says, I held my, excuse me. I sold my childhood home this year. My grandfather built it. Wow. Built the place. I felt a little guilty, like leaving the family members behind. It's all about onwards and upwards. Memories don't die. Exactly. Very comforting, Leonard. Thank you for saying that. The guilt feelings were your mind, right? It's your mind and your ego getting in there, because only mind and ego creates those feelings of guilt. And I see what you're saying, but know that your ego is seeing that you're leaving memories behind, family memories behind. I think you've already made peace with this and you were commenting for Ward, but I just want to say, like, that is part of our egoic story, right? That we're leaving things behind. You were called to give closure to that circle so that energy was now free to move on. That house had served its purpose. Your grandfather had set that foundation for your family, and it was your job to tie that up with closure for your family's energy, and it did. And now it serves a new purpose. And we are a part of those circles, and they're not easy for us in our egoic form, right? They're definitely not easy in our egoic form. Let's see. I know everyone has sad storyline, but mine is an illusion. Yeah, they're all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Our egoic stories allow us to experience what we need to awaken here in this form. It allows us to experience and learn what we're here to learn. It allows us to have the triggers to awaken. And the path to awakening, my friends, is not comfortable. It is not fun, and it is not easy. It is difficult because we are triggered to awaken through these challenges, right? This is very, very important to understand. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yesterday I had my dad ring because I haven't worked in a while. I felt close to him and my Uncle Steve. Excellent. Yeah. And I think that's a great way to look at it. I think I love it when people refer to their loved ones as ringing, right? And we need to understand, guys, and the more we understand this, I think the more, at least my goal is for it to be more commonplace for you all to interact with the other worlds as though they are right there and just as valid. They may not be as real and concrete as ours right here and now. Your loved ones have a different purpose on the other side. They're going to obviously engage with you and interact with you and have a different role in your life than they did when they were here. But it doesn't mean they're not there, right? So I'm so delighted when I hear people recognizing this and seeing this. For those of you that want to do more of this, talk to me about my Awakening Your Intuition program. This is what we do. We awaken your intuition, your ability to be more consciously awake, to use the metaphysical practices to trust yourself more, to deepen your mediumship connections, your spirit guide connections, your angel connections. I have a Meet Your Spirit Guides coming up. I haven't said this to you guys on this live yet. A Meet Your Spirit Guides event coming up in December. It's pinned to the top of my psychic medium page. All of these things are really important because why? Because they broaden your perspective of your current reality, right? They broaden your reality to more of what it really is. You are eternal consciousness here in this physical world that has a spirit team, that have loved ones that have crossed over, loved ones that you haven't even met on the other side, working with you in this world, working on the other side, loving and supporting you, there to welcome you back when you return to non-physical, right? There's such a bigger perspective going on. And when we have these struggles and we are struggling down here, it is so much better when we are in touch with our spirit team, when we are in touch with our intuition, when we have, guys, I'm all about proof and validation. When you're connecting with your uncle, with your dad, keep asking them for validation. Obviously, you get more of it, and because you know now, right? It's more second nature for you to know, to recognize, to hear their call. And sometimes that call, my friends, is just to let you know they're there. Sometimes it's to get your attention, to let you know they're trying to get through to someone else, or that they're offering support for things that you're going through, right? And in this world, if you were aware of every single thing, hey, Katie, welcome. If you were aware of every single thing that was going on all the time, literally your brain would explode. Okay. This is why our brain has a reticular activating system that you hear Tony Robbins talk about, because it selects what is our priority to pay attention to and what isn't. So thank God our senses get cut off, or we'd be completely overwhelmed. But that's why where you go, where your focus is, the more you want to focus on connecting with spirit guides and your intuition, and trusting your intuition and your spirit voices, the better your filter for that becomes. I mean, I engage this way all day, every day, connecting with the spirit world, multiple dimensions, the paranormal, metaphysical worlds, my loved ones in spirit, my spirit guides and angel. That is normal to me. So yes, there are other things I'm going to filter out, because my human brain and my mind can only process so much. But I have a different way of filtering and picking and choosing than most people, because all of those realities are part of my practical everyday life. So as you begin to make those things a broader perspective for your everyday practical life, you will naturally filter out other things. I think there's other things that I miss, right? That I seem very airheaded about, not because I'm blonde, because I'm paying attention to other things that are my priority. Okay. Let's see. Leonard says, okay, 100%. Let's see. I was a huge family gypsy traveler. Awesome. Let's see, that I came from, but had to just end mostly negative. Yes. So, and that's okay. Leonard says, I think I challenged Aphrodite, goddess of love, and I just can't snap out of the vibes. Well, the thing is, I just shared a video from one of my favorite quantum physicists, Dr. Wolf. And the person was interviewing him was asking, how do we know what's real? What is real? And his answer was, one of the ways you first of all, it's what you choose, right? And yes, Ward, I'll do mediumship for you here in a moment. Okay. Remember, it's the questions you ask that matter most, not the answers that you want. Hey, Cindy from Michigan, welcome. Hold on a second. So what I thought was fascinating was he answered that question by saying, basically, what's real for you is not necessarily real for everyone else. So for example, if everything is energy and everything is 99.9% space, yes, anyone that walks into my room here, into my kitchen and my family room, Yeah, they're going to deal with, there are the windows, there's the back deck, here's the counter. Yes. Okay. But how they perceive that reality is different. And so what Dr. Wolf said was, you can tell more of what's real and real for you by how many of your senses are engaged. So, for example, if more than one of your senses picks up on something, that's going to be real for you, right? If you see something and then you also feel and hear it, like for me, when I'm doing mediumship, I don't just use one clair, right? I use all my clairs come into action. For souls that come through, sometimes it just starts out with one, and then the other senses come in. So what is reality for you? That's a really good question, right? And it's very important. Now, Ward says, can you please medium see who is channeling me? Okay, so this is such a good question. And guys, I'm going to be on here with you for about 8 more minutes, and then I have to get off because I have to do a couple videos for my Awakening Your Intuition clients before I head to the barn tonight. But so first of all, what is, I want to break this down for a minute. What is mediumship? Okay, because we all have it. What is mediumship? The best mediums have the ability not just to pick up on frequencies and use their clairs, but to translate, to make the translation. Because what is it that we're actually what is it we're translating? We're translating an infinite amount. I can tell you it's an infinite amount of frequencies, vibrational frequencies. So when I do mediumship, I'm literally translating vibrational frequencies, languages that I know nothing about, right? So I find it interesting because a lot of mediums will say, okay, I need it, like Edgar Cayce, I need a translator because what came through me was Italian, because the person I was, the soul that came through was Italian. Well, for me, it doesn't work that way. They come through in whatever language they speak vibrational frequency. It translates through me in the language I speak and understand for the people I'm communicating with, because no matter what language you're speaking, it's frequency, right? So you can do this too, Ward. Okay. Data. Yes, Katie, it's data. Now see how long that took for me. I read that like 5 times. I was like, data. What's she talking about? Oh, data. Yeah. Your LOL help me. Your he. So it's just data. It's energy data. And so the other thing I want to say, Ward, and one of the reasons why we as egoic humans, we want to know who we are channeling. Okay. And labels are a human thing. It's actually not always relevant, to be honest. So for you, Ward, you need to understand that I'm going to answer your question, but you need to understand that your intuition, I teach my Awakening Your Intuition clients this, your intuition will always give you the same guidance and advice as your spirit guides. Okay? Because your intuition is equal to your spirit guides. You all have wisdom to the same thing. You have access to universal wisdom. Okay. And so do your angels, but your angels are your ethereal angels are a whole different ballgame. They can bring in wisdom from much higher ethereal God source in different ways. Okay. They're a whole different ballgame. Whereas your spirit guides have a gift while they are your spirit guide. They are given a very unique privilege to be able to lower their frequency to that of your earth realm so they can be here with you more in the physical, and they will relate to you more like a person. Okay. So that is very important. So for you right now, Ward, you are actually channeling your higher self, your intuition. You, as we talked about earlier, you were talking about consciousness, but really that's the observer behind your thoughts that's trying to come through so loudly. At the same time, you're also getting information from you have some energy master teachers coming through for you that are trying to bring through universal wisdom. You have angels and you have spirit guides also trying to come through to you. Okay. The angels right now are more just surrounding you with love, your intuitive, heartfelt energy that you're feeling, love, guidance, miracles that you experience. Your angels are surrounding you with energy. So you're going to be interacting with them more on a feeling basis and an experiential basis where they're opening gateways and doorways for you energetically. So you're not going to be relating to your angels right now in a way that you are cognitively processing. All right. As far as channeling that you can cognitively process, you are processing more from your spirit guides and your master teachers. It doesn't really matter who and what. That is something you are going to learn more as you get farther on your journey. But right now, you're first learning to distinguish mostly between your own cognitive mind and your intuition. So you're kind of lumping together what you're channeling with your intuition, and that is okay because they're working through your intuition. Okay. But that is who your spirit guides and your master teachers right now are working through. That's who you're channeling. And what you need to be doing, if you were in my Awakening Your Intuition program, or if you would come to a Meet Your Spirit Guides where you learn how to communicate literally with your spirit guides, and they tell you how they're communicating with you, how many of them there are, what they're doing. That's what that event is for. They would give you more of those details. You can start practicing that, but what you have to do from your end is start asking those questions in your journals, asking those questions on your walks. Let go and trust that they're answering. And if you feel that you're not getting a response, it's simply because you're not aware of it. Okay. The more you focus on it and you trust the subtleties word, the louder those subtleties will become, the more clear and loud and obvious these answers will be. At which point, those you are channeling will begin to reveal themselves to you. It's not that they're not trying to right now. It's just that right now you're not at a point where you're distinguishing it on your own. So I just gave you a heads up answer for you. Okay. But you can take that to the next step just through your practice. Okay. I hope that that helps. Let me know and keep me posted. We can go back over this on Monday when Susie and I get back on here. You can check in with me. Okay. Don't forget, guys, I'm having full moon readings. The full moon is the 15th, but I'm having full moon readings this Saturday. If you want to join me, you can go to larkinsreadings.com. It's only $20 a person. You can join us for our full moon reading and celebration. Okay. Let's see. We have a troll. Goodness Smith. Oh my goodness. I celebrate you. I share you with all of my colleagues. So you're a mistake because everybody's going to know who you are, kiddo. All right. So let's do this first. Let's block Goodness Smith and delete her. Ego wants to know that is right. That's right. But that's the point. Your ego wants to know. C word, that's the point. You're thinking the right way. You're already thinking the right way because you're thinking, oh, you recognize that your ego wants to know. And that's all that matters, right? That is what matters. So let's see here. Leonard says, at Goodness Smith, go away, scammer. Nobody's falling for that. I know, right? Oh my goodness. I do actually, though, they don't realize I do actually send these and market these to all of my colleagues. I give them a heads up. So it actually does not behoove them to. I'm very protective of my environment. So I'm not a person you really want to troll. Okay. So let's see. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. I'm getting through. All of a sudden, of course, just as I'm about to log off, everybody's got questions. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. And so keep talking to your loved ones. They are answering you and they're always answering you. It's just a matter of, are you recognizing them? Right. And again, guys, if you guys are interested in my Awakening Your Intuition course, I teach you how to do this. I help you learn how to strengthen this. It's an amazing, amazing course with beautiful, wonderful women in there. All right. All right. Let me get to you, Leonard. Let me quick respond to Katie. Don't forget, guys, when you're on here, that Susie also has a very low cost group she has for discussions. People get on, and she has those angel boxes. So you guys should check out Susie's pages and get onto that as well as my events. Let's see. How do you do that? Yet data, but remote viewers, probably easy when explained, yet for me now. It's frequency, energy, vibes, or telepathy. Okay, so Katie, I'm going to say this to all of you. I really, if you guys can use good punctuation and full sentences, it really helps me. I may be psychic, but when I read your comments, I get sucked down into my cognitive brain and I analyze what you're writing. I was a trained editor, and I have to say, I love you all, but it drives me nuts when people do not use good punctuation in full sentences. It drives me insane because punctuation matters. And I literally have to, I cannot understand what you guys are writing if you're not using proper English and grammar. Because it makes a difference. So I kind of get the idea of what you're saying, and I'm going to go based on what I think you're saying. But essentially, yes, remote viewing can be a part of that. That's a whole different topic I don't have time to get into today. But in my Awakening Your Intuition program, we have a whole segment we talk about remote viewing. Yes, remote viewing is collected data. I think you're referring to this, Katie. Correct me if I'm wrong. But remote viewing is about collecting data. There are universal principles and laws that need to be followed in doing that. It is vital to make sure we're following and abiding by the rules. But yes, all of our thoughts are outside of ourselves. All of our energy is outside of ourselves. So we can do that, right? We can pick up on things from anywhere in the world. And there are safe, loving, and morally good ways to do that. It is easy with practice. It is actually natural, but obviously we want to follow our moral codes with that. It is all just frequency and vibes. Yes. So energy, vibration, and frequency. Yes. Let's see. And telepathy. That is also how telepathy works. Yes. I will say, Katie, that we can connect to other souls at any time, and their souls can receive and interact with us. Okay, so even if we might not be able to change their cognitive mind or see eye to eye cognitively, their souls can hear from us and receive from us and connect to us. And we can always connect with people on a soul level. That's something my Awakening Your Intuition clients learn. But again, this takes practice, right? So this isn't something I can just tell you guys how to do here and have you do it. But from what I think you commented on, I hope I responded to all those things in a relatable way, Katie. I think I did. I think I pulled out of what you wrote. Let's see here, guys. I do literally have to get off of here in 5 minutes. Let's see. Your ego wants to know. That's right. Lord, I love it. Awareness is key. Any spiritual advice from how Dan feels about me? All right, let's get to that, Leonard. Thank you. Ward says he understands. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's do this first here. Okay. Let's see. Well, so what your spirit guides, Leonard, are saying to me is you're actually, Leonard, you're entering into a point in your life where they want you to really start trusting yourself, believing yourself, having confidence in yourself and your own intuition and your own, they really want you to start trusting yourself. They're showing me that it is time for you to start really trusting in yourself and believing in yourself. Let me turn this light on too here. It's starting to get dark, so I don't know if that's all enough light or not. But they're showing me that that's really, really important and that you're going to need to start doing that. And so they come right back at first and they say, they're telling me confidence, confidence, confidence. And they're asking me, what does your intuition say about how Dan feels? What does your intuition say? And are you acting on fear or intuition? I take this to mean it's guidance. Here is why. You want to know, and this is true for all of us, how someone feels about you, because that actually will determine your confidence and how you interact with them, right? But in truth, the real empowerment is what does your intuition say and what risks do you take? Because that creates a different outcome than what I say. Okay. That being said, I'm going to tell you what they're telling me, but I want to give you guys that piece of advice because as Chris and I were talking about in my last broadcast, it is so pertinent that we don't get our readings backwards. Okay. So what I'm getting from your spirit guides and from you, both of your energies is that Dan's actually asking the same type of questions, that there's the same curiosity there on both sides, that you're both actually doing the same thing. And that somebody's going to have to make a choice and make a connection there. Somebody's going to have to get out of their comfort zone and understand that you guys are on the same exact frequency when it comes to that. Okay. And so which one of you is going to, step out of your comfort zone, but that you're both actually mirroring one another right now, if that makes sense. So Dan is actually asking the exact same question about you. I think that's kind of cool. All right, guys, I got 3 minutes. You need a cool acronym for data. I actually like the word data. I love that, actually. I like that a lot. Let's see. Leonard says, it's been great. Love this tonight. I'm so glad, Leonard. It has been super fun. Tara Michelle, hello. Great to see you. Let's see. I think I did. You didn't you pop up yesterday or Tuesday? Let's see. Katie says I can say it better for sure. I think I got it. I hope I got it. Let's see. Katie says your comment about animals was removed. Oh, that's weird. Comment from long ago. I don't know what animals means. Animals was removed. Now intuitively feel I know why. I don't know what you mean by RE animals. I don't know what RE is. I'm just apologizing because I know a lot of people do that nowadays. A lot of people are just kind of write whatever. And I just want you guys to know that it matters because I want people to understand what you're asking. Let's see. It's okay if you didn't spell check. You guys should see my text. I mean, I just told you what I did about what drives me nuts, but I narrate into my phone and I'm always in a hurry and my phone is makes up whatever it wants. People have no idea what I'm saying. You'd never know I was a trained editor. You give me your paper to edit, I will hand it back to you and you'll burst into tears because I'm such a good editor. But with my own stuff, you might as well forget it. So don't worry. Let's see. Leonard says confidence totally, and I can't read him. He blows hot and cold. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Leonard. Another reader said the same thing. Oh, that's so funny. Love it, Larkin, totally. Oh my God, that's so funny, Leonard. Believe me, guys, I went through that for years. My childhood sweetheart was that way. We both were on the same page for years, and obviously it never did work out. It never did work out. But one of the reasons it never worked out was because we were both on the same page. We were both so shy. We were both so cautious. We were both so careful. And we were both doing the same thing. And I think it's cool that another reader said the same thing because that should be validation for you that that's really what's coming through. Because really what your spirit guides want you guys to do is they want you to use this both as an opportunity to grow with the motivation of one another. The hot and cold, though, is just a bluff. The hot and cold is a self-protection mechanism. And so this is an opportunity, guys, for you guys to both wake up. And sometimes the best thing to do is just, whether it works out for you guys or not, it will behoove and strengthen the person that is brave enough to really what you're both dealing with is you're both dealing with overcoming your egoic mind. You're both actually facing the opportunity to liberate yourself from your mind. Because all the limitations that you feel are of your mind. So whichever one of you does that and overcomes that, you've gotten what the opportunity is there to present. Okay. Bye, Anne. Have a great night. All right. Let's see. I'm almost ready to log off here. Oh, thank you, Leonard. Katie, you said RE as regarding yet shocked, but was regarding two animals being friends and one famous Instagram story ending sadly. One was a squirrel. And amazing as your reply. Yeah, Katie, why do your sentences not make any sense to me? It made they is regarding. Okay, regarding. Got it. Okay. Well, I pick up on you intuitively, and it's awesome. But the little messages, I'm sorry, I wasn't picking up on. That's hilarious. Okay, I do get it though now. I get it. Okay. Like I said, guys, you know, I make up for my intuitive abilities in other ways, lacking in other ways. Listen, we will be back here on Monday, Susie and I, at 1 p.m. EDT, 6 p.m. BST on Monday. Animals in Action will be live with you on Friday. I am doing full moon readings on Friday for $20 if you guys want to get more in depth and join our full moon ceremony. Don't forget, I have 8 spaces left for Meet Your Spirit Guides in December. If you join that, you can participate in the Meet Your Spirit Guides reunion, which is in January. And don't forget to check out my discovery calls if you guys are wanting and needing a discovery call. The video is posted on my Psychic Medium page. And check out all Susie's goodies as well. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for making this a special session. I'll see you on Monday, if not before. Bye, everyone.